Shalom, beloved family. It's your girl Sophia Spiritualite, and we're going to talk very briefly about glamour magic. Now, this is something that I just learned about, but I realized that this is something that basically all of us have done at some point. We just didn't know that we were doing it. If you use makeup or scents or personality to influence people, that is a form of glamour magic. Now, the thing about that is, obviously, this is something that the Gentiles have taken from our people. So, that being said, the way that I think about things is when I realize that they're using something against us, we have to use it for righteousness. So, what I see is take Kanye West, for example, perfect example, and the Kardashian clan, right? They use glamour magic like sirens to call these men in and then to take all of their energy from them. That's what they do. It's like stealing your shining, but kind of like using your beauty to do it, as opposed to just like a random touch or whatever. It's more so like, feeding on the energy of a person, as opposed to just, snatching and run. You're literally, they literally feed on it. They use it to charge them up. Now, like I said in my last video, I am working on some things that we can use to charge ourselves up just from this stuff that they already got going on out here. And those products, as they become complete, I will let you all know, and they'll go into the store. But for right now, let me just talk about this kind of one thing. So, the whole concept of glamour magic. So, I'm going to put in my community post one of the pages I found where they talk about how to do it. So I'm going to talk about one thing that I tried, and I definitely feel the effects from it. It seems to have been very, very useful for me. So what I did is I took my mirror here, my old dusty mirror, and it is dusty. I did this in a quiet place. I lit me a pink candle. Now these are in the instructions, but you know me, I modify everything. So I use a small candle. You see, this is like a party candle. I have a bunch of these. I had bought to sell. So I got me a small candle, pure beeswax. I lit the candle. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, Song of Solomon 4:7, which is, now let me, before I even get to that, before you do something like this, please do your shadow work. Holy smokes. If you haven't done the shadow work, this thing is going to blow up in your face. You have to have done the shadow work. You need to know for a fact that your shadow is in check, because this thing is extremely powerful, especially the way that I did it. So make sure your shadow is in check before you even go down this road. Because as you can see with the Kardashians and all these rappers and all these other ones, Vivica Fox with this fillers and all these stuff, this thing can make you crazy. Another thing, I did this before I put makeup on. I think when the witches or whatever do it, they wait until they have their full face of makeup on, and then they do stuff like this, which is ridiculous, because you're beautiful without it. But because they don't do these things without their full face on, they're tying their beauty to the makeup and not to who they are, their real skin color, their real skin. And that's why they have so many issues. Also, I can see that this stuff is starting to backfire on them. It's not working the way that they used to, which tells me that those angels don't want to work with them anymore. You know what I mean? They want to work with us. And again, the way I see it is, if the angels want to work with us and they don't want to work with them, then we need to step up so that they have some people to work with. Because I truly think that before, one of the problems that we had before is that when we got to a certain point, we acted like we didn't need any of the angels. We could just do it ourselves without their help and without the Most High's help. And so they began to withdraw from us and go and work with the Gentiles because we rejected them. And so we have to show that we are accepting them in all different aspects of our life. And one of these aspects is absolutely this whole concept of glamour, beauty. So, and well, let me finish this part and I'll go into detail about that. So you take your mirror, you light your pink candle, small one, and while the candle is burning, you take rose quartz, which I don't have one. I don't think I can reach it. Hold on, let me see if I can reach a rose quartz. Here we go. Here's my rose quartz. This is not the one that I use. I'm going to do another video about what I use this one for. But here's a rose quartz. You hold it over your chest. And I'm videoing so I can see myself as if it's a mirror. And Song of Solomon 4:7. You know what? I can't even remember it. I just did it and it's like, hold on. Sorry, I should have been a little bit more prepared before I started shooting this video, but y'all know how I am. Song of Solomon. So, anybody else impressed by how close I have a Bible? Here we go. Songs of Solomon 4:7. Here we go. Thou art all fair, my love. There is no spot in thee. There we go. Thou art all fair. I couldn't remember how. You take your... Oh, I think I did it with the wrong hand. I should have did it with the right hand. No. Do it with your left hand. Because your left hand is where you take the energy in. And the right hand... Wait a minute. Maybe you should do it with the... Because in your left hand, the energy comes in. In your right hand, your energy goes out. Probably do it with your right hand. So you can take in all the energy. But if you do it with your left hand, do whatever hand makes you feel that you feel better with. I think I did mine like this. And I use this hand. I think it's better if you do it with your right hand. Because you're taking in the energy that's coming out. Anyway, Song of Solomon 4:7. So you have your mirror. You're staring at yourself in the mirror. You have your pink candle lit. For the duration of that pink candle being lit, you want to say, thou art all fair, my love. There is no spot in thee. For the whole time. Mine took about 5 minutes. Just like doing a regular mantra, except you're looking at yourself and you're telling that to yourself. What I noticed today when I got up, and the reason why I'm talking about this is, and so you do that for the whole time the candle is lit. When the candle goes out, then you stop, all praises to the Most High, and you go on with your day. You put makeup on or whatever. You see, I put some lipstick on today after that, which I had not had the inclination to wear lipstick in at least 6 months. So, like the inclination to wear it, not like I felt like I had to. It's different. Also on that page that I'm going to post in the community post, it has a activation you can do for the talisman. I did mine at the same time. I had bought this from Hobby Lobby and I didn't know what I needed it for. And then of course it became obvious. So, but that's on the page. I just did both at the same time since I had everything to do, the thing with the talisman. So that's what I did. So, because here's the thing. I knew when I went back to red hair that it was getting ready to be something different. Because the last time I had red hair, I was going to talk about this in the last video, but it didn't relate. The last time I had red hair, I was really, really on it. Like, I was out in the midst of a bunch of men, and I was doing like music industry work, and I was working them dudes. I was working them. So that's what I affiliate my red hair with. Like, I'm going out there and be very, very aggressive and very, very, not seductive per se, but just, I'm going to be using my femininity to get stuff done. That's what that is for me with this hair color. Now, I've had my dreads for 15 years. No, 16 years. And usually what I do is I cut them. That's why they're kind of short. I don't like real long hair. Although I am probably going to let my hair get long now. Most of the time I don't like real long hair because it's hard to do and it's hard to take care of. So I would just cut it to about shoulder length every year. So now, and I had my hair a bunch of different colors. I started out with like orangey, not quite this bright red, and then I went to like kind of a more toner red, and I was going through my divorce. I went to pitch black, and then I went from black back to red, and then I've had my hair like a golden color, and so that is to say that what you do with your hair does reflect, how you feel on the outside. So don't neglect to take care of yourself. Especially, you can see how the Gentiles are about things. You don't want to go overboard. See, the whole thing about it is trying to figure out how to create a balance with this stuff. So you don't want to use glamour magic to, steal somebody's shining, do some kind of, cause a man to sin. Basically, you don't want to use it for that. And that's, of course, what we were doing before, which got us into trouble. But as you can see, the Gentiles have taken that to the extreme. If you see all of our basketball players, our athletes, our quote unquote top 10% of men, a lot of them are not with black women. And that is because you've got these Gentiles and these Psalms 83 using this glamour magic to reel these men in and hold tight of them. And all they're doing is copying off of us and our stuff and our style and how we used to do things, except they got a hold of it and they're using it for their purposes. And so that's why this is one area that I have personally been called to get back into. So I used to do makeup. I did a lot of stuff. I used to do makeup. I used to like do body painting and stuff like that. I did a lot of different kind of things. And so if I can find some of the pictures, I'll post them. But yeah, I think that was the point. We just look into it. It's something to look into. I just like that one because it's really good for stuff. Oh, what I saw this morning. When I woke up this morning, 4 or 5 different people were tweeting about how negative things, people have to let go of that old stuff. People have to jump out of that negativity. And even when I was doing my meditation this morning, I noticed that whatever these negative entities are, tried to bring up some old stuff and throw it in my face. And I was like, that's the old me. Like, why are you bringing that old stuff up to me now? Because I'm not even that person. I'm not that same person I was. I don't do those same things that I do. And number one, top priority, I'm not saved by my actions. My actions do nothing to save me. It's only the grace of the Most High and the blessing of the mother that allows me to have anything that I have. It's not me at all whatsoever. And so trying to throw old stuff that I did in my face when, like I always say, the bar is extremely low. Solomon had 1,000 wives, girlfriends, and only had 3 children. Abraham and Isaac, they was always telling everybody that their wife was their girlfriend or their sister. Everywhere they went, they were scared. They didn't want to get into no fights, and they would say, "Oh, that's my sister. That's my sister." Something wrong. The bar is low. The bar is very low. And those men are all committed to the annals of history. Everybody knows to say their name. Their name carries power. Therefore, you trying to, these negative whatever entities, your shadow trying to throw up, old stuff in your face is irrelevant, because that's all who you were. That's not who you are now. And the Most High has you on a very important mission. So don't worry about that stuff. And you have to be able to tell yourself, that's why you want to do your shadow work before you get into that scripture, because you're saying, I'm perfect the way that I am. There's no spot within me. Why? If you're filled with the Most High and the Mother, there is no spot. There's no space for a spot. What? Where is their space? They are more than enough to cover any and all blame, which it also says somewhere in the Bible. Y'all know the scriptures better than me. I'm just telling you the mechanics of it. So, and then so that happened to me. And then when I looked on Twitter, people were saying that, like, don't let this stuff don't let this stuff that. I was like, wow, this must be a theme for today. This must be what these entities are trying to throw at us today. So I just wanted to address it, and you address it by tapping into that inner beauty. This is not something just for women. Men can also use this. You know, you take your rose quartz, you put it over your heart, you do the same thing. You know, talk to yourself in the mirror with that same scripture, because glamour is not it's unisex. It's for all people. It's not just for women or just for men. It's just that you need to be able to tap into that aspect of yourself, and also that aspect of who we used to be. And as long as you've done your shadow work, and as long as you're, you know, staying on the even, it will be helpful. So as I, you know, get into more of these things, I'll share them. But I did want to just bring that one up because it's very easy. Almost, and if you don't have a rose quartz, whatever crystal you have, use it. You know, I have a chunky rose quartz. That's what I use. This one I use for something else. Like I said, I'm going to do another video about that in a minute and talk about it. Everybody has a mirror, you know, and if you don't have any, if you got a pentacle, use your pentacle. Whatever it is that you can use to charge up your heart, that's what you want to use. So we'll be doing more talking about this glamour magic. I encourage everybody to just look into it, see how these Gentiles are using it, take it and modify it for yourself. Because again, the kings and the queens, they were beautiful. They were beautiful, and that beauty doesn't come from the outside. It comes from the inside. And so you have to, once you've done a lot of the shadow work, you have to refill your inside with positivity. And it's not just, it is positive thinking, but it's also with beauty, with glamour, you know, with this, you know, as this reflection of the Most High, whose light is so beautiful and so shining, you know, you can hardly look at it. We have to fill ourselves up with that. And that takes the equal amount of work that you've done to clear out your shadow. Is the same amount of work it's going to take to rebuild your spiritual self with that thing. Because even though a lot of it is taking it off, we still have to put certain things back on. Put on the whole armor of God, which includes glamour. And other sort of mantras and things. Not just finances. You can't run a kingdom and be a broke queen or broke king. Much less you can't run a kingdom or and be a ugly king or ugly queen. And that's why they got problems over there in Britain, because they have ugly people trying to run the whole world with their nonsense. That is ugly. That's why in the United States, the whole idea of presidency has always been based on looks. That's why they thought Biden was it, because when he was young, he was this, and he had blue eyes, maybe, whatever. They just try to pick the most it's a beauty contest, as much of it is a political context, and most of politics is about looks. And so this is just, we got to get on the field. We got to start taking this thing over. We're already naturally beautiful, so we actually just put a little bit of effort into amplifying the glamour that's within us. Man, you know, this kingdom is going to be built in two shakes. So to the spirits who are here with us, you're invited to go in peace. To my beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace. And always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom.